Kathy Abbott to come to the mic.
So they gave me the easy job. I have the honor and the pleasure of having been a close friend of Betsy Sherbrooke's for over 40 years. And I was offered the opportunity to come and say a few words, and that is, I consider that the hugest of honors. I did kind of wonder how I was going to fit 4 decades. I had a little more than 30 seconds, but that's supposed to be 3 minutes, of knowing and loving a woman who is larger than life, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm sure that she was a friend and a mentor to me and a major force in my life. I'm sure she's been a major force in many of yours, and I know that can go both ways. Some of us have talked about that tonight. I met Betsy in the early 80s when she was just beginning the Massachusetts Association for Homestead Parks. I was helping to lead the launch. She's also helping to lead the launch of the National Association, now the Homestead Network. Years later, she helped to launch the City Park Alliance, which is now one of the best park advocacy organizations in the country. She also helped to found Mass Parks for All, the reason we're all here tonight, to celebrate and to support. You didn't have to know Betsy very long to feel her passion and her power. Betsy was a force to be reckoned with, and you did not want to be on the wrong side of that force. Before I met Betsy, after her move to Brookline with Gary, she was elected chair of her new neighborhood association and was reunited with the power of Homestead Parks that she'd known as a child growing up in New Haven. Her son Andrew remembers her taking him down to Leverett Pond at the bottom of Pell Hill and finding it desperately in need of restoration. She took that on. When Betsy saw a problem, she went to work to fix it. She was excellent at figuring out who could help and getting them on board. That's probably true of every single one of you in this room, imagine. Betsy was passionate about parks, passionate about community preservation, and in particular, Frederick Law Olmsted's genius. The relationship between people and the landscape, so important today, that public parks, the fact that public parks, as they say, are democracy in dirt, has been a driving force for Betsy. More recently, Eric Kleinenberg's book, Palaces for the People, makes this case for shared spaces as well as shared values as critical underpinnings of democratic societies. How do we stand on Betsy's shoulders today to protect our democracy in general? Her husband Gary describes Betsy as, quote, an ardent feminist devoted to the election and appointment of women to key positions in government. Not long after meeting her and being recruited to join the board of the Mass Association for Homestead Parks to help create the Boston Park Ranger program, she recruited me to work on Evelyn Murphy's first and second campaigns for lieutenant governor. Evelyn would be the first woman elected to statewide office. Betsy liked to tell the story of having to share a hotel room with this young, knobby-kneed former park ranger at my first convention. Valuing parks and politics, feminism and Virginia Woolf, family and friends were the foundations of our early friendship and the pillars of Betsy's life. She loved fiercely and was fiercely loyal. Betsy led wherever she went and supported others to lead. She taught us to all see the problems and to step up and fix them. She moved from chairing her neighborhood association to chairing the Brookline Conservation Commission for 20 years. She went into state government in support of her friend Bob Durand and joined an absolutely incredible team, many of whom are here tonight. She helped to create the Community Preservation Act. She saved the parkways. And later, in the Romney administration, through her continued leadership in the Office of Public-Private Partnerships, she created a program to teach disabled veterans to sail at community boating, and who can forget the development of Teddy Ebersol Field. She worked hard to engage all of us and many others to help maintain the parks that she advocated for restoring for so many years. The $92 million Muddy River restoration is another great example of her vision and her tenacity. Betsy believed that if you were going to create, build, preserve, and restore parks, you also have to maintain them. And we know that there is never enough money and resources to do that. It takes all of us in every sector, and Mass Parks, one of her last acts, is part of the solution, and it's why we're here tonight. Another one of Betsy's heroes was Eleanor Roosevelt. Betsy worked hard to help restore Valkill, the summer home of her hero on Mountain River. One of Betsy's favorite Eleanor quotes that she would remind me of whenever I was making a major personal or professional decision was, quote, "Do one thing every day that scares you." Well, we all know how some of those turned out. But don't let that deter you. Don't do not let that deter you. For you, it might be as simple as asking your friends and family to support Mass Parks for All and to bring them to the next event. While no one asked me to try to raise any money up here tonight, I know that Betsy would have. First, thank you to everybody who's already generously given. We can't collect funds in the club, but we welcome online donations tonight and every night. DCR needs Mass Parks for All to help raise the public and private funds necessary to support our state park system. We want to support our new commissioner, Nicole LaChapelle, welcome, and the hundreds and thousands of staff and volunteers, hardworking staff and volunteers in our parks across the Commonwealth. Betsy will be watching over us always, giving us help when we don't ask for help. And in her absence, she would also ask us to give us the fierce love and loyalty that we need to carry on. Thank you.